This is your Fox 43 forecast first with Chief Meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
Not bad temperatures throughout the day. We had a lack of sunshine, just a pretty thick cloud deck all afternoon and now all evening long. We're still in the mid-40s. Keep in mind our average high for this time of year should only be around 39, so we're not looking too bad. We're also tracking rain chances now out to the west, just crossing into west central Illinois. That will be here as we roll through the overnight tonight and pretty much all day tomorrow. Very scattered chances. 40 for your wake-up call. 49 again tomorrow afternoon. Rain chances, as I mentioned, continue into Friday, and a big cool down is coming early next week. We'll have details in your forecast coming up, but first your news at 9 starts right now.
This is WYZZ Fox 43 News. First at 9.
Tonight, lawmakers are trying to reach an agreement on the looming fiscal cliff, and we're finding out what it means for you. Plus, dialysis patients end up in the hospital after cleaning solution was pumped into their bodies during a treatment. But first, the search is over for the families looking for 2 missing Iowa girls. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maria Chandler. Authorities say they're confident bodies found in an isolated wildlife area are those of 2 young Iowa cousins who disappeared while riding their bikes last summer. The Black Hawk County Sheriff said that's based on evidence at the scene and the preliminary investigation. However, autopsies are still pending. Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins vanished while riding bikes in Evansdale back in July. Elizabeth was 8 and Lyric was 10. Hunters found the bodies Wednesday in a rural park about 25 miles away. No one has been charged in the case. When asked if it was a homicide case, authorities say they still believe it was an abduction, but they will have to wait for the medical examiner's report to call it anything else. A hunter in a small Illinois town may have stumbled across an international murder mystery. While shooting at a turkey in these woods on Monday, the hunter came across a human skull with a hole in the head. Authorities combed the area the next day and found the rest of the remains. They also found a sock and a pair of blue sweatpants which contained 5 Russian coins. Authorities suspect there could be ties to the Russian mafia.
Forensic investigator pulled those coins out of his pockets, the first thing we thought of.
That's what everybody thought was possibly Russian mafia.
The evidence is now with the Illinois State Police Crime Lab. Authorities are also comparing dental and missing person records to try and identify the man. A dialysis treatment center is under investigation after 7 patients had cleaning solution pumped into their bodies. U.S. Renal Care in St. Louis confirms the solution was inadvertently added to the water supply used in the dialysis treatment. Lindsey Bramsom spoke with one of the patients.
I was scared to go to sleep that night.
60-year-old Sam Tolbert spent 2 days in the ICU. He was receiving dialysis at U.S. Renal Care when he says the technician dialyzing him suddenly became concerned.
And they kept asking me, how do I feel? I said, I feel fine. But then they said, we got to send you to the hospital for precaution, just in case. That's why I got here.
So for 2 days, Tolbert knew nothing other than a chemical that wasn't supposed to be in his body somehow got in. Now, U.S. Renal Care admits a cleaning solution was accidentally added into the water supply due to what they call a one-time human error.
Somebody need to get trained again. Need some more training. Because how could you pick up a bottle of cleaning solution and put it in the machine, and you've been using these other bottles all this time, these gallon jugs of whatever you use, and now you got some cleaning solution?
Tolbert says he was terrified. Not getting any answers for 2 days, he had no clue what happened and if he'd survived. He says when he arrived at MOBAP, nurses began pumping out the fluid.
That night I was short of breath, and I was scared to death laying here. I was short of breath that night because I thought it had got in me, but they had gave me some medicine. It was working itself over in my body.
The Department of Health and Senior Services is investigating. All the patients are expected to be okay. U.S. Renal Care says it plans to reopen once it knows the water system is absolutely safe again. Current state senator and candidate to replace Jesse Jackson Jr. in Congress, Don Trotter, is in some hot water with authorities in Chicago. Trotter was preparing to board a flight from O'Hare to D.C. when a TSA agent found a gun in his carry-on bag. The gun was loaded with 7 rounds, but there wasn't one in the gun's chamber. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office says Trotter is charged with a felony count of attempting to board an aircraft with a weapon. Trotter told authorities he had the gun because he moonlights at All Point Security and Detective Incorporated and forgot he had it in his garment bag. A traffic stop in Livingston County leads police to an unexpected discovery. A Livingston County Sheriff's deputy was doing a routine stop when he discovered the driver, Walter Bradford of Peoria, was driving on a suspended license. A search of the vehicle after a canine indication lead led the officer to discover about 6 pounds of marijuana in the trunk of the car. Bradford's passenger, Justice Johnson of Peoria, was also arrested. Both Bradford and Johnson face a felony charge of manufacture and delivery of cannabis. Time is running out for lawmakers to reach an agreement on the looming fiscal cliff. But what does that really mean for you? Fox 43's Alexandra Suter explains what people have to say and what's really at stake.
It doesn't matter who you are, the fiscal cliff will affect all of us if Congress doesn't take action.
I think it'll affect everybody, whether you're low income, high income, middle income.
If you make an annual income between $64,000 and $108,000, your taxes could increase by $3,500 a year. If you make between $40,000 and $65,000, you're looking at a $2,000 tax increase. Using this online calculator, you can find out exactly what you stand to lose. Say you're married, you have 2 kids, and you make about $35,000 a year. With no deal reached, you would jump from paying about $400 to more than $2,000. How do you make that up?
You don't make that up. You work more hours. You spend more time trying to find other ways to conserve your money and not invest in maybe helping St. Jude or giving to the community in other ways.
The government spending cuts are set to expire on December 31st, and without a compromise on taxes, hard-earned dollars are at stake.
That's a few months of rent. That's, that's food on my table. It's a lot.
People say it doesn't matter how much you make. They hope lawmakers will be held accountable, that they'll put the people first, and they'll work out a deal.
They should just get over it and get to work, and for everybody, for the older people, for the middle class, for the young people.
As we look to 2013, a lot of people are unemployed right now, and hopefully the politicians can reach across the aisle, work together on this.
Work through with a degree of compromise and the type of compromise that was occurring in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. It's not happening.
In Peoria, Alexandra Suter, Fox 43 News at 9.
To find out if you can determine your financial factors, visit our website at ciproud.com for a link to the tax calculator. Meantime, 13th District Congressman-elect Rodney Davis says it's appalling Democrats and Republicans can't make progress on this crucial issue. He says the common sense solution is extending current tax rates.
I'm not asking for a tax cut or a tax increase. Let's just give the job creators in this country the certainty they need to understand what their tax bill is going to look like.
Davis says if a deal isn't reached, people will be burdened with the largest tax increase ever to happen in America's history. The aftermath of Hurricane Sandy is driving business in Washington today. As the Senate meets to talk about the storm's impact on transportation, the push for states and continued high-profile advocates, Emily Schmidt has more from Washington.
It didn't take long to see Hurricane Sandy's damage was bad. Now officials are beginning to say just how bad. The numbers emerged at one Capitol Hill hearing after another this week.
FEMA has provided over 14 million meals, over 16 million liters of water, over 1.6 million blankets, and over 100,000 tarps.
Forced hundreds of thousands of families from their homes.
One subway station, South Ferry, is going to cost over $500 million, nearly $600 million to repair.
Families impacted by the storm say it has been a huge blow.
It doesn't seem like New York. I feel like we're in a third world country right now.
So the governors of 2 states hit hard by Sandy are taking their case to Washington. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie meeting with White House and Capitol Hill officials Thursday. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo made the trip Monday. Combined, they are asking for more than $77 billion federal dollars for relief.
This is a big situation and a big agreement and big numbers. And there needs to be more conversation, but we're not going to stop until it is done.
We're trying to make sure we get to a place that we can help the region recover as quickly as possible.
White House Press Secretary Jay Carney said Wednesday it's too early to say how much relief money the Obama administration will request. He pointed out the administration has already designated more than $2 billion. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood announced $10 million more for New Jersey Thursday. The governor's requests come as Washington is caught in heated debates on how to avoid the fiscal cliff. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
One Iowa neighborhood gets a surprise flyover. Details coming up.
This is WYZZ Fox 43 News. First at 9.